connect with the team also requires a transparency at large. So, how much you are open to the entire team, whether the discussions that have been going on, whether it is only limited to a closed room discussions, or it is being given out to the team and their thoughts and visions have been implemented and understood at large. So this is what the transparency should be. You should be approachable, you should be open to the entire team, whether the organization is doing good, whether the organization is doing bad. Like during the COVID times, when everybody was taken aback. So the entire thought process was revolving around more on the terms of how the person is able to understand the entire piece rather than the work of what he has to do. So we have to understand and connect with the persons as a more on a human touch rather than on the technology and the work that the person has to do. The next thing that we try to implement or that we try to encourage within the team is the overall risk-taking capacity. You as a leader already has a risk-taking capacity, and that's why you have started building something. Now whether you can invite the same thing into your team is what matters is. Because at the end of the day, the entire organization will only grow when the team grows. If the team is not taking risks, if they are not doing innovations, if you are not building the organization as a family at large, and they are not growing, nothing will grow at the end of the day. So you have to push yours and the team's limit at the end of the day. This is another third point that we keep on working. Now coming to the values, ethics and integrity, this is something which is very close to my heart as well, because at the end of the day, the organization is what you and your team is all about. Whether we have established an organization to be implemented in terms of ethics, or whether it is something that you are just growing it at pace and you are not taking care of the ethics or the integrity on your path of the journey. Like if I give some of the two big examples, there are two big companies out there in India. When someone makes an investment into that company or that company makes an investment, nobody talks about it. But on the other hand, the organization which has been going on for more than 100 years, everybody knows that that is making an impact. So the value, the conscious has to happen for the team, for the organization at large. In today's world, as I was talking to some of the people up here, it's all about collaborations. The organization can only grow when they collaborate with their peers, with their competitors, with their industry leaders at large. Now, if the same thing has to grow, it has to come within the organization as well. The collaboration has to happen within the organization also. You can't just take a decision and then say, okay, I made this decision and you have to stick to it. You have to take your team's input, you have to understand why such a person is doing what they are doing or what they are making their decisions. So why that is happening is where the act decisively or making an inclusive decision is important, so that the team feels a part of it and they can share your vision in terms of an improvement of the entire organization. Now, the another point that we have to understand and keep on it is there would be a lot of downs than the ups in the entire organization. Now, during the downs is what keeps a team motivated, is what you have to imbibe in the organization. So this is what with the optimism, like during the COVID times, there have been a lot of challenges. We all have gone through some bad times where we have lost some near and dear ones, the team member has lost some near and dear ones, and we have all seen the declining of the businesses, the profits, the incomes and everything. Now if you just keep on cribbing about the entire piece and not thinking about what to be done and everything, on the other hand, if you come with an optimism, that is what is important at the end of the day. So you have to face the whatever the negative side of the entire piece, but you have to also balance it with the growth that the company is going through. Now we have been practicing this back in our organization, all the points that I have mentioned about, whether it is balanced hard truths, act decisively, value ethics and integrity, encourage risk-taking and innovations, transparency, and ability to influence others. And by implementing this, we are where we are. Like in last 2 to 3 years, we have grown over 12, 15x. Even during the COVID times, there has been a lot of growth for us by practicing this speech. And this is it. I wanted to keep it crisp. I'm more open to questions and answers.
Every person has their own agenda or own thought process towards what can make a leader successful, what can make a company successful. Do leaders really make them successful, or do people really make them successful? You've spoken about a few points there, and you say that you are implementing them in your company. What is that one trait of leadership which is very important to you?
Ability to influence others.
Why so?
See, unless you don't share your vision with the team, you'll not be able to succeed yourself in terms of establishing or building what you want to do. Only when you can share your vision with the entire piece, with the people, with the audience at large, is when you will be able to grow yourself and the organization that you want to do.
When you say sharing your vision, is sharing enough, or do we need to go beyond?
Well, it is different from industry to industry. In terms of, like if I talk about finance and insurance, obviously you need, we all are today disruptors. We are making few of the new technologies, new processes, new products. Now, if we don't share that vision enough with the team, they will not be able to understand the true value that they are creating. Only when they understand, okay, what value that we are creating and what impact it is going to make at the entire community, then only they can be a part of it fully, and they don't want to crib about we have to work from 9 to 10, or we have to work extra hours, or we have to work overtime. When you share that vision effectively enough to the team, they are into it 24/7, like the way you are as a leader.
What's that one thing which you tell your teams the most, or how do you empower your team?
Sorry?
How do you empower your team?
So we empower by giving them their space and in terms of freedom to be able to grow themselves beyond their limits, I would say. Like we have some of the amazing people in the team who have been with us right from right after the college. And 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, now they have become amazing people. We have given them enough opportunities to grow themselves and create what they have created today. Like some of the amazing products that we have done in our organization have been created by these people who just went out from the college. And it was only possible because we gave them the space, we gave them the confidence, we know, okay, you can do that. It's not something that, okay, you are an intern or you are just a 1 year old experienced guy, you can't do this or you can't do that. You have to give them space and the environment to make them grow.
Great leadership, I like that. Yes, we got another question for you.
Thank you, Manan. Actually, leadership is always a challenging area. I just want to ask you, post-COVID, has there been a change in style of leadership? Because you talked about more transparency, risks, sharing risks, and these sorts of things. Because in our organizations, we have to talk a bit more openly about what are the challenges, what are the setbacks. As you mentioned it nicely, that the hard facts need to push optimism into them. So do you think leaders have changed, or do you think, has it matured? Has the leadership style changed? Is that
yes.
Something I wanted to understand?
Yeah. So I would say that a lot of things have changed pre and post COVID, wherein we were taking a lot of things as a guarantee that okay, this will happen and this is how we can function. That has changed after COVID. People have become more human, I would say. Before COVID, it was more on the machine side that we were pushing out towards ourselves. Now with the COVID and that jolt that we have all faced it, we have become more human. And we try to understand when someone says, okay, one of my family members is going through a COVID flu, or one of my family members is down with something. We give them a priority before we put a work on the priority. Obviously, work is important, it's not something, but that gap can be filled out. Before COVID, if someone even says that I have a fever, There are people which we all have heard about, no, you have to come to office, be it sunshine or rain. So that has changed. So that has actually created value in a lot of cases.
Empathy, I think that's a big thing. All of a sudden people understand what people are going through and how important connections with family, right, that we value. And for you to acknowledge that in your team is really remarkable. So well done. Give Manan a round of applause. Really beautiful. Love it. Oh, you got a question for him before he leaves? Maxim has a question.
Well, thank you very much first for your very inspiring session. Yes, one quick question regards the great resignation that you're probably aware of. Did you face such challenges as well in your company, and how did you retain your talents? Thank you.
So it is on a very similar lines wherein we have given them enough space to grow, and we have actually believed in them that okay, even if you were not able to do work because of the lockdowns or because of the delays, timelines and everything, it is the confidence that we have shown in them is how we are able to retain. Like in the entire last 2 years, none of the people has left our organization, and in fact we have doubled our strength in the organization. So people are looking forward towards having more freedom rather than giving them the strict timelines and the I would say vicious environment so that they can't do themselves.
What your favorite leadership qualities, and you said influences people. Again, different people draw different meanings to empowering and also influencing. So as a leader, do you see empowering and influencing as two sides of a coin, or can you draw a parallel and meet an intersection with them?
So it goes hand in hand in terms of empowering and sharing your vision in a way. See, influence is not in a negative way. Obviously, if something that you as a leader are doing wrong or taking a wrong step, you obviously have to be corrected with it from your team. It can't be something always that you are always right. It can't, in today's era, there's nothing like boss is always right. So it can't happen. Then you will not grow yourself and you will not be able to grow your organization. So you have to influence the people in the right manner so that they grow themselves in a positive side of it, not on the negative side. Obviously, if someone is taking the advantage, you have to correct. You have to take hard decisions. You can't always be lenient and you can't always be soft into it. You have to use both the push and the pull at the end of the day. So you have to influence on the positive side and you have to make them empowered in a way that they are growing themselves. See, at the end of the day, in today's era, the technology is so fast changing that nobody can cope up with it. Now, if you are not giving them the room enough to grow themselves, they'll feel like, okay, even if the organization is good, even if it is growing, even if it is making money, the environment is good, that's okay. But what is, as a person, I am growing or not. Whether my growth is happening or whether it has become stagnant. When you show your organization as going upwards, you have to show a person's growth also going upwards. If it has become stagnant, then you are dead. The person will be out from your organization.
I personally feel the major reason that why employees leave their job is they feel there is a lack of appreciation. What's your opinion about it?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like if you like I have worked myself in an organization before I started my venture. Now I was putting over 14-16 hours of work into that organization, and all I get was a simple paper saying that star of the week. So it doesn't make me any feel. Why should I put my efforts more into it? And when the actual appreciation time came in for the appraisals, for the financial benefits, all I was getting was for 10, 12, 15%, and that too on the very higher side. And this I'm talking about 10, 12 years back. Now, appreciation on all the terms. It is not only about growth in terms of a person's knowledge or the skill set. In terms of the entire piece, the growth has to happen. The person has to be financially more capable of doing or taking decisions. It has to grow its knowledge, it has to grow its as a person, it has to grow as a skill set. So all aspects of the person's growth is important. So appreciation is the entire piece. It cannot be just one piece of financial. Okay, you are doing good job, I'll give you an increment of 20%. That will not work. You have to take all the pieces.